Tough times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create tough times. That's been the cycle and the pattern for many generations, for many different families, many different legacies. And I was actually reflecting on that short story, parable, and honestly, YouTube short that I saw months ago, and then Tony kind of alluded to it and talked about it during the conference. But I was actually reflecting upon my grandfather's story, because really the story goes my grandfather had tough times, and then my father had less tough times, and then I didn't have as tough times, and then my kids had good times, and then my great grandkids created tough times because they only knew good times, and there's an entire story behind that. But I was reflecting on my grandfather's story in the tough times that he endured. He was 12 years old and wasn't allowed to live in the house anymore, not because he was a troublemaker, which he may have been, but because he was one of 10 children and the oldest, and his parents simply couldn't afford to keep him in the home anymore. He actually went on his own journey and ended up moving to a new state at a very young age. Lied about his age when he was about 14 years old, said he was 16 years old, and got into Job Corps and really started working. Spent a couple years there and lied about his age again and joined the Navy, which, you can't really lie to the Navy, but they'll throw you on the bottom of a ship and they'll put you to work, and that's kind of what he did. And he endured those tough times, and then he came home and he met I had already knew my grandmother back on an Indian reservation in Nebraska, and started a family, and then moved from Nebraska to California, had 4 kids after losing his first child, and worked 80 to 100 hours a week, driving movie sets, was a truck driver during the day, and then took many shifts where he drove a bus from Los Angeles to Las Vegas at night. So working hour after hour after hour to make better times for my father and his siblings and my grandmother. And then of course my father carried that on and created a little bit of better life for us. And now I got to reflect on that, because I'm kind of at that cycle where I'm at the peak. I had a better life than, of course, my father did, in many, many different ways. But I have to be careful what I'm doing for my kids. And I bring that up because I'm talking about these big, grand visions and creating these great times. But it's also important that we become these gladiators and these warriors, that we become a gladiator or warrior. Whether you're male or female, we become the gladiator or warrior. Because we're entering a time right now. Right now. We're already in it. Just look at the stock market. We're going to go through some tough times. We're going to go through a lot of tough times, as we do in any generation and as we do as humans. How we respond is the legacy that we're really going to be leaving for our kids and the next generation. How we respond to these tough times, not necessarily as an entire generation, but how we respond. Because I can't focus on, nor can I control what my neighbor's going to do to respond, or the person down the street, or the person on the next state. I can't control what my brothers and sisters do. I can't control what my cousins do. I can control what I do. So I invite you to just reflect on that. Whatever you're going through right now, tough time or good time, one of those are going to pass. But it's how we respond during these tough times to make better times. We have to become a gladiator, and we have to become a warrior, because our kids depend on it.